Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm super glad you found your way here, and if you've been rocking with me for a while, you already know how we do things. Today, we're diving deep into something massive, a total game changer in the world of HIV prevention and treatment. We're talking about Yeztugo, also known by its generic name Lenacapavir. This medication has just received FDA approval in the United States in mid-June of 2025, and let me tell you, this approval is historic. It's now the first and only HIV medication that can be used for pre-exposure prophylaxis, PrEP, that requires just 2 injections a year, yes. Only twice a year, no more daily pills, no more monthly appointments. We are officially entering a new era of HIV prevention, and it's a big deal, especially for folks who struggle with daily adherence or feel the burden of ongoing stigma tied to taking a daily HIV prevention pill. So let's break this down together. Yeztugo, or Lenacapavir, is what scientists call a capsid inhibitor. Now, I know that sounds super technical, but stick with me because this part is actually fascinating. In simple terms, HIV has a protective protein shell around its genetic material, kind of like a bodyguard that helps the virus replicate, hide from our immune system, and invade new cells. That protein shell is called the capsid. Most existing HIV medications target other parts of the virus, like reverse transcriptase or integrase. But lenacapavir is different. It's the first drug that directly targets that capsid, which is like going straight for the virus's armor and taking it down from the inside. Lenacapavir binds to very specific sites on the HIV capsid, and that does a few important things. First, it blocks the virus from properly uncoding once it enters the cell, meaning it can't release its genetic material to start infecting your DNA. Second, it prevents the virus from assembling itself correctly when trying to form new viral particles. And third, it stops the virus from transporting its genetic material into the cell nucleus, which again is absolutely critical for HIV to replicate. In other words, lenacapavir messes up HIV at multiple stages. It doesn't just block one door, it boards up the windows, seals the roof, and shuts off the power. That's why it's such a game changer. Now, let's talk about real-world data. There were 2 major clinical trials, known as Purpose 1 and Purpose 2. These trials tested lenacapavir's ability to prevent HIV in people of different backgrounds, including cisgender women in sub-Saharan Africa, and men who have sex with men, transgender women, and other at-risk individuals in the United States, South America, and beyond. The results? Absolutely stunning. In Purpose 1, there were 0 HIV infections among the women who received lenacapavir 0. In Purpose 2, only 2 participants out of thousands became infected, and researchers believe those cases may have occurred before the drug had a chance to fully kick in. Statistically speaking, that's over 99% effectiveness, making it one of the most effective HIV prevention tools we've ever had, comparable to, or even better than, daily PrEP pills like Truvada or Descovy. And unlike other injectable PrEP options like Apretude, which is given every 2 months and requires 6 visits a year, lenacapavir is injected just twice a year every 6 months. Think about that. 2 shots a year. That's all it takes to get round-the-clock HIV protection. If that's not revolutionary, I don't know what is. Of course, no medication is without its challenges. So let's talk side effects. The most common ones reported in the trials were mild to moderate, and included things like redness or pain at the injection site, headaches, and sometimes nausea. That's pretty standard for injectables. But the really important caution is that lenacapavir should not be given to people who already have HIV but don't know it. Why? Because if someone with an active infection takes this as PrEP, it might not fully suppress the virus, and that could lead to a resistant strain, meaning the virus could become immune to the medication. So proper HIV testing before each injection is absolutely critical. And what about access? That's where things get a little more complicated. The US list price for Yeztugo is around $28,000 per year, which puts it in the same ballpark as other branded PrEP options. But let's be real, the actual cost to manufacture it is estimated to be between $25 to $40 per year. So yeah, there's a massive gap between cost and access, and we need to talk about that Gilead, the pharmaceutical company behind Yeztugo, has announced that it's allowing 6 generic manufacturers to produce and distribute the drug royalty-free in 120 low- and lower-middle-income countries, which is great. But many middle-income countries think Brazil, India, South Africa aren't on that list, and that's raising a lot of eyebrows. Health equity advocates are already putting pressure on Gilead and international bodies like the Global Fund and PEPFAR to do better. People are calling this the closest thing we've had to an HIV vaccine, and if that's true, then it needs to be accessible to everyone, not just people in wealthy countries or with good insurance. Let's not forget the public health angle here. HIV remains a global health crisis, with more than 1 million new infections each year. Even in places like the United States, new infections are rising in some communities due to stigma, poor access, and social barriers. Imagine the impact of a discreet, twice-yearly PrEP option, especially in rural areas, among young people, or in places where HIV-related stigma makes it hard to take a daily pill. Yeztugo has the potential to truly change the landscape of HIV prevention, but only if we prioritize equity and access from the beginning. That's where you and I come in, sharing this kind of information, pushing for systemic change, and making sure we hold pharmaceutical companies, governments, and healthcare systems accountable. So, to wrap it all up, Yeztugo is not just another HIV drug. It's a new class, with a new mechanism, offering a new level of convenience and protection. It represents decades of research, innovation, and patient advocacy. But it's also a reminder that innovation means nothing if people can't access it. If you're someone who's ever felt overwhelmed by daily medications, or if you work in healthcare, or if you're just passionate about public health, Yeztugo is something you absolutely need to know about. And as always, I want to hear what you think, so drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are you excited about this new drug? Do you think it's the future of HIV prevention? Do you have questions about how it compares to other PrEP options? Let's get a conversation going. All right, fam, that's it for today's video. I hope this gave you not just information, but inspiration to stay curious and stay informed. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Sharing is caring, so send this to a friend who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay safe, stay educated, and I'll see you in the next one.